Dr. Alistair Finch hunched over his console at the North Atlantic listening post, rain hammering the windows as he sifted through the static of the night. The storm outside was relentless, a constant percussion that seemed to echo the tension building inside the small, isolated room. Alistair's world was reduced to the soft glow of monitors and the endless hiss of white noise, a place where time seemed to stretch and blur. His world was one of signals, faint whispers on radio waves, mostly routine until tonight. Most nights, the transmissions were mundane. Weather updates, ship logs, the occasional distress call from a fishing trawler. But tonight, something was different. The static felt charged, as if it was hiding a secret just out of reach. A burst of data, impossibly clean and precise, cut through the noise. It was so sharp, so deliberate, that it jolted Alistair upright in his chair. The signal was unlike anything he'd ever encountered. No interference, no fading, just a perfect crystalline transmission. Alistair isolated the frequency, a distress call, but encrypted with quantum entanglement, technology barely out of the lab. The encryption was so advanced, it was almost as if the sender never wanted it to be found, or perhaps only by someone who could truly understand its complexity. The source, a void in the graveyard of the Atlantic, where no ship was registered. He checked every database, cross-referencing coordinates and ship manifests. Nothing should be there. The area was infamous for wrecks and legends, but tonight, it was the origin of something real and inexplicable. Yet the signal pulsed, a beacon from a ship that didn't exist. It was as if a ghost had reached out from the depths, demanding to be heard. Intrigue replaced fatigue. This was no ordinary SOS. Alistair felt a surge of adrenaline, his curiosity ignited by the impossible nature of the message. Alistair filtered out all other channels, focusing on the impossible transmission. He adjusted the dials with trembling hands, determined to extract every fragment of meaning from the encrypted call. The rain faded into the background. The world shrank to the glow of his screen and the mystery before him. Every sense was attuned to the signal, the outside world forgotten. The signal was a siren song, promising to unravel everything he thought he knew. It was both a warning and an invitation, a puzzle that demanded to be solved. He had to know more. He had to understand. The urge to decode the message was overwhelming, as if his entire career had led to this singular moment. The night was no longer ordinary. It had become a threshold, and Alistair Finch was about to cross into the unknown. The ship's ID tag emerged from the signal's data packets. Alistair ran it through the maritime database, expecting a classified result. The answer chilled him. SS Wanderer, lost in 1925, a century-old ghost, now calling for help. He laughed in disbelief. Had to be a prank, right? But every search confirmed it. The Wanderer vanished without a trace, a footnote in history. Black and white photos showed a sturdy steamship, its crew staring stoically from another era. They knew nothing of quantum signals or digital codes. The ship vanished in a legendary storm, no wreckage, no survivors. Yet the signal persisted, mocking logic. A ship from 1925 using technology from the future. Alistair stared at the old photo, then at the data stream. The contradiction was absolute. The men in the picture were long dead, their ship was gone, and yet they were calling him. Analyzing the signal's architecture, Alistair's disbelief deepened. The distress call was wrapped in quantum encryption more advanced than anything in use. No prankster or university could pull this off. The signal was a technological masterpiece from a historical phantom. It was like finding a smartphone in an Egyptian tomb. Every test confirmed the impossible. The signal was genuine, coming from the exact coordinates in the Atlantic. The encryption was the key. Why encrypt a distress call? This was a message in a bottle, sealed with a lock no one could open. It was a cry for help that resisted understanding. The signal wasn't just a call for rescue, it was a deliberate, calculated message, waiting for someone with the right key. Alistair was determined to find it. The chase began. Alistair's mission shifted from listening to pursuit. Breaking the encryption was like guessing a trillion-character password. Standard methods failed. He needed a new approach. He mapped the signal's structure, searching for patterns in the pauses and fluctuations. Days blurred into nights. The outside world faded away. He started talking to the ship, feeling a strange kinship with its sender. After 72 hours, he found it. not a flaw, but an anomaly in the quantum key. The key evolved with each pulse, matching the decay of a specific isotope found only in steel from 1920s Sheffield. The ship's hull itself was the key. It was a revelation. The physical ship and the signal were entangled. He didn't have the key, but he now knew the shape of the lock. The mystery deepened. The ghost ship was challenging him to unlock its secret. Alistair was ready to answer. Alistair called an emergency meeting with Dr. Eris Thorne and Dr. Lena Petrova. He laid out the evidence, the signal's origin, the SS Wanderer's history, the quantum encryption, and the isotope key. Thorne was skeptical. Time-traveling ghost ships were absurd. Lena, however, was electrified. The ship's hull as a quantum key was a paradigm shift. It implied data entangled with a physical object across a century. Thorne proposed mundane explanations, military experiments, electronic warfare. But the isotope key defied logic. No modern prankster could replicate it. The room was split. Disbelief versus wild possibility. The evidence was undeniable. The Wanderer's signal was real, and it demanded an answer. The team faced a choice: dismiss the impossible or embrace it. Alistair knew which side he was on. The investigation would continue. With Lena's support and Thorne's reluctant approval, they tried to communicate. They couldn't break the encryption, but maybe they could acknowledge the signal. The plan sent a response resonating with the Wanderer's unique isotopic frequency. Lena calculated the quantum frequencies. Alistair reconfigured the transmitter. Thorne managed logistics, documenting every step. The atmosphere was electric. Alistair initiated the transmission, a digital knock on a century-old door. Power surged. A focused beam shot across the Atlantic. They waited, hearts pounding. The Wanderer's signal continued, unchanged. Disappointment set in until Lena gasped. The signal stopped. Silence. Then a new signal began. It was different, unencrypted. The new signal was a simple text stream in plain English, but its clarity only deepened the mystery. It was as if someone, or something, was reaching out from another time, using the most basic means to communicate across an impossible gulf. The message read, "Signal received. Thank you. We are adrift. Time is unstable. The storm folded us." The coordinates that followed were identical to those received before, as if the sender was stuck in a loop, unable to move forward or back. Then another message. "We can see you. Can you see us?" An image file arrived as if to prove their existence or perhaps to plead for help. Alistair opened the file. It showed the SS Wanderer looking untouched by time, yet surrounded by a shimmering distortion that warped the air around it, as if the ship was caught between two worlds. The sea in the image was eerily calm, the sky above painted in unnatural shades of violet and indigo, hinting at the strangeness of the anomaly. The crew stood on deck, dressed in authentic 1920s garb, their faces turned outward, gazing as if through a window in time, their expressions a mix of hope and confusion. They looked alive, not spectral, caught in a moment stretched impossibly across a century, as if time itself had paused for them. The ship was preserved, floating in a bubble of impossible physics, a transparent dome that separated it from the normal flow of time and space. The Wanderer and its crew hadn't sunk. They were trapped in a spatio-temporal anomaly, a rift where the past and present overlapped. Their advanced distress signal was not a product of futuristic technology, but a side effect of their bizarre condition. Caught between eras, their messages slipped through cracks in reality. Their reality was bleeding into ours, the boundaries between then and now dissolving with every transmission. The mystery was solved, but the answer was more fantastic than any theory. The impossible had become undeniable fact. The past and present had collided in a way no one could have predicted. The impossible was real, and the world would never look the same again. The team scrambled to explain the impossible. Lena theorized the 1925 storm created a localized wormhole, a fold in space-time. The Wanderer was pushed into a pocket dimension where time flowed differently. Their simple radio call was refracted by the anomaly, emerging as a quantum-encrypted signal. The universe itself was translating their SOS. Thorne, now convinced, worried about the anomaly's stability. If it collapsed, would the ship reappear, vanish, or trigger disaster? The Wanderer was now a potential crisis, not just a curiosity. Had their contact stabilized or destabilized the anomaly? The questions multiplied. How were the crew surviving? Did they know a century had passed? The line between observer and observed was blurring. They stood on the edge of a discovery that could rewrite reality. The Wanderer sent a desperate plea into the void. "Bring us home!" The message crackled through the static, a fragile thread of hope stretching across the vast, silent ocean of time. In the control room, the team faced an impossible choice. Risk a dangerous rescue, do nothing and let the past fade, or attempt something no one had ever tried before. Thorne, ever the pragmatist, urged caution, warning of the unknown risks. Lena, driven by compassion, argued for hope and action, believing that reaching out was worth any risk. Captain Alistair listened to every voice, weighing fear against possibility. In the end, he decided, they would not abandon the crew of the Wanderer, no matter the uncertainty. Instead of a rescue, he would send knowledge, a compressed history of the last 100 years, a message of hope and guidance, a lifeline to bridge the centuries. SS Wanderer, we read you. We cannot bring you home yet, but we are here. We are listening. We will not leave you adrift in the dark. The words glowed on the screen, a beacon in the night. Along with the message, he sent a star chart of 2025, a map to a future the Wanderer's crew could scarcely imagine, filled with new constellations and possibilities. It was a leap of faith, rooted in empathy, curiosity, and the belief that connection could transcend even the boundaries of time. As he waited for a reply, Alistair stared at the screen, heart pounding, wondering what new discoveries and challenges awaited when humanity chose to answer the echoes from the deep past. The ocean of time was vast, mysterious, and unknown, its depths filled with both danger and promise. But for the first time, the crew felt a sense of unity and hope. They were not alone in the darkness anymore. The past had reached out, its voice trembling but persistent, refusing to be forgotten. And the future, with all its uncertainty and promise, had answered back, forging a bridge across the years. The story was only beginning, a new chapter written by courage, hope, and the timeless human desire to reach out into the unknown.